Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Arnaab Booral. Today's story is from the Indian mythological story, the Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, without going into why Kauravas lost the battle, why the Pandavas won, let's look at some of the following in relation to Bhishma, the grandfather of the two opposing sides, who, though he loved one of them, actually ended up supporting the other. And what we are going to look at today is how this particular gentleman, Bhishma, the grandfather, could have avoided the war in the first place, hypothetically. Point number one, if if only Bhishma had raised his voice strongly at various points during the story of Mahabharata to curtail the maternal uncle of the Kauravas, Shakuni, who actually motivated Duryodhan for most of his wrong steps that he took during the whole Mahabharata. The second is, if only Bhishma had motivated his elder blind son Dhritarashtra not to allow his son Duryodhan to take up the ideas of Shakuni and involve in the wrongdoings. Dhritarashtra, however, was then the king of the Kuru kingdom, but he was blind physically. The third, if Bhishma had not really allowed Duryodhan to actually do those wrongdoings, well, considering the fact that he was the father figure of the whole family, he could have actually controlled the steps of all these three units or characters. The fourth, if Bhishma had not really allowed the dice game to proceed further once it started getting ugly, which is where the Pandavas basically went on to bet their kingdom, bet their wives, modesty, etc. That's a later story, but Bhishma could have stopped that. And last but not the least, if even after all of that, if Bhishma had actually protested or stood strongly and opposed the Vastraharan of Draupadi, which is basically the respect of Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas, being mutilated, where her dress was actually dragged off, and which is where Krishna comes in to, bless her with unlimited cloth. That's a different story. But all of the above pointers, all of the previously spoken pointers happened because Bhishma had taken a promise, had promised long back to serve the king of the Kuru kingdom at any cost. Now, raising his voice or opposing the current status for the benefit of righteousness would have certainly meant that he would have broken his promise. Now, he being him, who was particularly known for not breaking promises, couldn't do that. However, the promise would have been broken only to make sure righteousness wins. However, now, if I put it in the perspective of today's working atmosphere, we have professionals in our team who are skilled and smart. Even if they don't have a voice to call a spade, it may not turn out to be the best interest of our team. If they can't afford to be bold and blunt without worrying or getting bothered about promises, fear, commitments, then there is a problem of, honesty or clarity within the team. There are quite a number of organizations who talk about, glass walls, etc., glass cabins. But even then, I think This is much more personal rather than the glass walls, etc. So, uh, calling a spade and allowing your team to come up and really talk about how they feel about a certain step being taken could probably modify the future perspective of an organization. Small things could impact big changes. Inputs from your team could actually impact better steps from you for the future. So, which might ensure that you do not really lose the end battle. So take a better look at your teams going forward. Take a better look at understanding what they feel, how they feel about the steps you are currently taking. Take their views into consideration and move forward before you move forward. And I think I'm sure your organization, your team is going to grow at a better rate with much more stronger bonding and at a much more promising and positive future orientation. Thank you. Going forward, please follow me on my Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, as well as my YouTube channels. In most places, you would find me as Arnaab Booral or my hashtag title, AB Ponders. Thank you very much.